organizer, and I would ask her, I had
Hi, Anita, it's Julia. I was saying the whole shaking your head.
Take a deep breath. You made it right on time.
That was so good.
when you text me back, I'm like, you're part of the
She remembered your son.
My brother was trying to
So I told her it doesn't matter. I remember the street.
No, not so confused.
So I'm gonna look it up.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, relatively September. Oh, okay.
Did you want to come on?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
you
So wild. So I'm with my. I too. But we divided up.
Here's some water. Adults. Would you want two of these?
I know, you're all hiding in the back. We'll call you all out. One by one. We're not the back, we're on the third row.
Sure. It doesn't go to school when you want to sit in front. You know, we want to sit in front. And I do presentations at the county board. Yeah, that's a great thing.
Oh, BJ, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Lori, board members have
I saw that, Lori. Did you? That was so important.
and Pat, you know,
I like it. I like it.
see how it works?
Got here at like 9.
See how that works?
Where's your other reporter?
Back there. I don't care.
Write that down.
He knows. What does he know, Lord?
Right.
So mostly Friday night. So rabbis asked that at their visit post-COVID, 75.
I knew mine. Look at this one. And then I it was like that. Because I'm like, but you can't do it.
I have taken, first of all, a small
Minor things happen since COVID, right? And, but also, Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hi, thanks for coming, Steve. There you go. So, hello, everybody, and welcome, and thank you all for coming out tonight. Those of you who are here in the sanctuary, and those of you who are here streaming with us via the live stream, thank you for learning with us from wherever you are. I'm Rabbi Paul Kipnis, Rabbi here at Congregation Orami, and we're thrilled to welcome you all here. And thank you all for coming out or zooming in, streaming in for this last minute, or staying after you're a faculty member all day. Thank you for doing that. Two things that are going to happen before we come back to what's happening tonight. We just worked it out. This Shabbat, we have Torah study. 8:45 bagels and coffee, 9 o'clock Torah study. Lisa, I'm going to be there with our rabbinic student, Lisa Friedman, and the focus is going to be, we're going to study the Megillat Esther, the scroll of Esther. We're going to look at the last chapter. In the last chapter, Jews, when the word has gone out to slaughter all the Jews, and since the king can't retrieve that or rescind that dictate, he gives the Jews permission, Mordechai and others, to defend themselves. And it's a bloodbath. It's a great thing to learn and look at this day. Power, self-defense, what are the limits, where it goes. With what's happening now in Iran and in the Mideast. What do you do when you have a megalomaniac who's got genocidal ambitions? So we're going to look at that through the lens of the text. It is fascinating. Any of you who have studied Megillat, most of you, even if you've studied Megillat Esther, have not spent that much time on that chapter. So we're going to delve in, and it's not your religious school Torah study. So come and be with us. We'll be for about an hour. Come as you are. Don't get dressed up. It's just, I'll relax. Second thing is in April, we're going to be having a neighborhood Shabbat. We're inviting people to sign up to open their homes for any number of people to have Shabbat dinner with them. Jill Richmond is our chair of that. And the hope is that we can find 10 homes to open their homes up, to invite people, half that you know and half... We already have 10. We need at least two more. And half the people will be people you want, and you know, and not want, but you know. And the other half will be people from the congregation who want to go and have dinner somewhere. And so we'll create communities. We're looking for at least 2 more homes. You can do anywhere from 4 to 6 to 12 people. And Rabbi Alana and I and our president, Susie Gruber, will drive around and say hello to everybody and stay a little longer, whoever has the really good food. Yes, please send the menus on. It'll be on help, like Yelp. Okay. Rabbi Lana Zilberman Soloway, our rabbi for 2 years, when she was going back to Israel, we made some asks of each other. One of her asks, she wants to stay in touch with the congregation, and I said, we will bring you out to be a scholar at some point. And she was just here, and we'll do again. And one of my requests to her was that as she finds out that significant thinkers, leaders, innovators, social Tikkun Olam people, rabbis, teachers, leaders are coming to California, Southern California, and might be available to speak, to let me know. And so I get a text a week ago. She says, I met this guy, and he's really important. And I'm going to let him tell the story about how that went down. Anyways, Ran Cohen Harounoff is, if you read his bio, if you go to his organization, which will tell you about earlystarters.org, which is the website, you will be inspired and amazed. He's also got a whole career as a children's book writer, author, and music also. And so kids, particularly, but also adults with kids and others, we have a rock star here, okay? I'm not sure he's gonna focus on that work, but he's gonna more on this. I wanna welcome particularly the Adult B'nai Mitzvah class. Thank you for being here. We're glad you're here. To help you, he's gonna speak only in Hebrew, so hopefully you'll be able to do that. And there it is. We are going to talk a little bit. I asked him to do a little bit at the beginning or somewhere in about what's going on in terms of how his family and how Israelis are doing with what's going on in Israel, in the Mideast, with Iran. That's not the focus of his talk, and I'm going to ask that as he finishes that part. This is not the primary question-answer part. Really, it's the work of this amazing organization. It's about kids and helping kids, and that's one of Orami's primary missions in our Tikkun Olam work. So without further ado, Ron.
Thank you. Hi, I'm really, really happy to be here. And as the Rabbi Paul said, I was sitting in a cafe with my partner, Merav, who's sitting here, in Jerusalem, thinking if I'm gonna join here her nephew's bar mitzvah, and thinking I was planning to go to New York, and I didn't know if it's a good idea to come to Los Angeles, and we sat in a cafe, and a woman came to me with 3 kids, and she said, can we have a picture with you? And I said, yeah, no problem. And I took a picture with the children, and she said they really love your books and the TV program. It's called The Treehouse Kids. And she said, and we just came from Los Angeles. I was a shlicha there. And I said, wow, Los Angeles, come and sit with us. We were just discussing if we're going to go. And she was saying, yeah, I was a rabbi in a synagogue in Calabasas. And Merav was saying, Calabasas? My brother is living in Calabasas. and that's how it happens in Israel. 2 minutes later, her son and Roi's and Rotem's son are best friends from school. That's how it happened. And we just decided we're coming, and I'm coming, and that's why I'm here. And I said to her, so connect me some. And she connected me with Rabbi Paul. And I'm here, so I'm really happy to be here. And of course, the question of to go to New York and to Los Angeles at this time was all the time. We didn't know it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. The war, my children I have 3 children. They're stayed at home. And the decision to go at the end was, I took it, and then we just came in 2 days after the war started. And it's really hard to be far from your children while the war is going in Israel.
How old are your children?
I have 29, 24, and 16. Yuval, Aviv, and Eve. And my youngest son is autistic, so it's 16, but sometimes it's really younger than that. And it's hard because from one side, I'm happy not to be in the missiles and everything. From the other side is to see and to be worried all the time, and the hour difference. And my nephew's house was bombed. He was really lucky, and he ran to shelter 2 seconds before. He didn't come. It was not on the time to come to the shelter, and the bomb fell on his house. It ruined all his house, and our offices is also not far from there. Also, all the windows were broken. So, and he's in shock still. He was saved. I'm really happy that nothing happened to him. But I think this is really a difficult time for people who live in Israel for all the time when there's a war. I think the Iranian war is a little bit different because the missiles are also ruining houses, even if you are in a shelter, and it's really hard to be there. At that time, children are afraid, and the ongoing war that doesn't stop. It's really hard for the children, and also for the adults, but for the children especially. And I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing in Israel also, and I hope really all of us are hoping that it will stop, and as fast as we can, and we'll pray for no one will be hurt anymore. I think this is the most important thing. During my talk, I will talk about it a little bit more, especially what we're doing now. And but if you have questions at the end, just ask. Feel free to ask anything. I'm open to answer. Okay. So I'll start with my mother. Yes. This young child here is my mother, Hanneke in Dutch, Hannah in Hebrew. And she was 3 years old when the Germans came into Amsterdam. My mother was born in Amsterdam, and after 3 years, the Germans came inside, and she had to find a place to hide. Her parents went hiding in some village, and they left her with a friend of the family who started finding her places to stay. She was 3 years old. She went from one house to another. Every time there was something scary that happened, and she had to pass to another house. Until she came to the house of the family Primo Vase. And they had also a young daughter. Her name was Fitje. It's the older daughter. She was 6 years old. And she had to stay there for 1 day or two, and she stayed there for 3 years. 3 years. She's this amazing family who risked their lives and the daughter's life, who went every day to school and didn't tell that she's hiding a young child at home. This is the story that we grew up on, and I knew that maybe I'm not so sure that I would have done the same thing that they have done. I can't say it for sure. I hope that I would have risked my own life, but I'm not so sure I would have risked my children's life for someone I don't know. I can't be sure. But I'm trying to do my best in the things that I'm doing. So trying to be, many times, my mother died 5 years ago, but Fit is still alive. She's 90 years old, and we're talking every week. And she sees things that I'm doing around the world, and she says, "I'm so proud of you." And I'm saying, you know, that my idol is your parents. So I think this is why I'm here, okay? So I grew up in Jerusalem. I had a lot of things that I've done. When I was 23 years old, I opened my own kindergarten, and I love the work with young children. Maybe later on I understood maybe the story of my mother, who was 3 years old, and I know how this time when she was in hiding influenced her. I knew this age of young children is so influential, and I want to work with those children. So I had my own kindergarten in Jerusalem, and I later on I worked with the government. I did a lot of changes in early childhood in Israel, and I decided to open my own organization, as you heard, Early Starters International, working around the globe because children are the same all over the world. And I worked in Greece with Syrian refugees who at the beginning didn't understand what Israelis want to help Syrian refugees. But after 2 hours, they understood they were there for the children, and we opened a safe space there. And we worked with Sesame Workshop in Bangladesh with the Rohingya refugees. We worked with in Malawi in a refugee camp, in Haiti after the earthquake. So we had a lot of experience. One of the special places where we worked was Ethiopia. in 2018. We came to Ethiopia after there's a big disease there called trachoma, you know, an eye disease. This eye disease hurts children. In North Ethiopia, Tigray, it hurts almost 30% of the children, and between 3 to 5% of them can get blind for that. So we were asked by another Israeli organization called NALA to come to Ethiopia, and I thought, what can we do with the disease? I know education, but a disease. So we decided in Israel there is a lot of work with young children on through the young children to change things in Israel. Like when we were children, we were picking flowers everywhere. So there was a lot of working in the kindergarten on how not to pick flowers in the nature, and it worked. And we changed our lives and the children and our parents. We told them not to pick the flowers, so they didn't pick the flower anymore. So there was a big change through that, and later on also other things. So we did something like that. We invented a character called Toto, this one here, and this Toto came to Ethiopia with us, and he taught the children about trachoma, but he was always confused. So he did a lot of mistakes. So the children had to correct him all the time, and through that they learned how to prevent, how to be more hygienic, how to prevent the disease. And what was really interesting for me, because I know, you know, probably you know you had your own children, and education is a long way to influence the children. But here you can see it very fast because the disease has infection on the eyes. And a child that has infection on the eyes has fleas on his eyes. Fleas, yeah. And so you can see them, and when they're clean, there's no flies. No, not fleas. Flies. So they don't have any flies on the eyes, so you can see that it works. And we work with almost. This is Toto. My illustrator of my books, he illustrated him, and you see he has big eyes, and he's like not human, but he has a human feeling. And so after all, we worked with around 50,000 children. So the feeling that even one of those children won't be blind and because of that is an amazing feeling. And what we brought from Israel was also a lot of creativity. So we taught the teachers what to do, but we also gave them a lot of ideas of how to do things by themselves. So one of the teachers, and this is a kindergarten in Ethiopia, she invented song on cleaning the face with the children, and here she sings it. And afterwards, she taught it to all the other teachers, and that was also amazing. That's a kindergarten. Yeah, a lot of playfulness, and this is also something very, you know, she was very serious at the beginning with the doctor's coat. Yeah. And after a few years, I was sitting in front of the TV, and I saw the beginning of the war in Ukraine, and I said, I just can't sit here and won't do anything. I had all the feelings, you know, all the Holocaust movies, my mother's story, everything came up to me. And I called another organization that we worked with, Israel, and I said, "What's happening? What are you doing?" And they said, "We just came to the border between Moldova and Ukraine. It's a big mess. No one knows what to do. Talk with us in 2 weeks." And I said, "I'm not waiting 2 weeks." It was the Corona time. I took a Corona test, and the day after I was together with Yuli, who worked with me, on the plane through Poland and Romania to Moldova, and we saw that. We saw the picture of people on the border of Ukraine who were 1 minute before, or after a few hours before, me and you, normal people, in one day they became refugees. They had no phone working, no money, no place to go to. Most of the husbands were still in Ukraine fighting the war. And it was a big mess. We opened the tent on the border for the mothers and the babies and the children. And after a while, we saw buses are coming, taking the people. We went with the bus, and we saw that they came to this stadium. It's called the Manege Stadium. 800 refugees in three toilets. Really a big mess. And I came to the head of the stadium and I said, we want to open a place for the children here, a safe space for the children. And she said, you see, it's a big stadium. It's not really a place to do something. And I said, let me find a place. And I found this place in the corner. And we told them, maybe we'll do that. And she said, look like a junkyard a little bit, but whatever, if you want. So I went to the shops. I was a little bit like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. I went with 3 carts, and everyone goes around. I'm filling it up with the toys and everything, and a house that I took with me. And now I see that I had the mask from the corona. Oh, what happened? Okay. And after a while, the place looked like that. And the children started coming. And it was amazing to see how a few minutes ago they were like stuck on their bed and doing nothing. And then they came and started playing and being children again. And it was a really amazing feeling. And since then, we were working in Moldova, Czech Republic, Poland, opening safe spaces all over. In Poland, we opened in a synagogue, and afterwards we started working in Ukraine itself, and we opened safe spaces in Ukraine for IDPs, internal displaced people, like we had in Israel. We had internal displaced people who came from the bombed areas to places where more safe, like Lviv. But still, most of them, it was really hard for them. This short video is a place called Sumy. It's on the border with Russia. We have a safe space there for children. Most of the time it's bombed. So most of the time they are in shelters and there's no electricity. I just talked a few days ago with the head of education of the ministry in Lviv, and she told me, now we're really happy because they're bombing mainly the electricity places and not our homes. So we are freezing, but we're not dying. So this is the situation still in Ukraine, and we forgot Ukraine. You know, we see it's not on the news anymore, but the war is going on. And this is a short video of our children in Sumy using flashlights. We do playfulness with everything. Yeah, they're nice. And what's amazing that now, it's exactly 4 years since we started there, we are working with this is the Vice Minister of Education from Ukraine, and we're working in a big reform that we're trying to do there called the Future Kindergarten of Ukraine, working on the resilience of the children and also about thinking about post-traumatic growth, how they can be, we have better kindergartens that the children who went to other countries will come back, that the education system will be much more connected to the Western world, not very post-Sovietic, very old-fashioned. So that's what we're doing now in Ukraine, more systematic change, and not only our safe spaces, we have our safe spaces, but also a big change in Ukraine itself. After working in Ukraine, one of our main donors, Dr. Evelyn Lipper, came to Ukraine and said, you know, we have also a big crisis in the United States. We have a lot of refugees who are coming to the United States, especially to New York. Please come and help us here. So we came to New York. We were a little bit Israelis. We didn't ask questions. We just came to shelters and opened safe spaces. Later on, I understood how the system in the United States works. It's not like in Ukraine, you just do anything that you want. You need the insurance and a lot of other things. But we were there for the children, and we are not asking questions, and we started opening safe spaces. And now we're working with the Ministry of Health and with the municipality. There we are known as an emergency organization from the city of New York, and helping also children who are coming as refugees, but also local children there in New York. So it's really amazing to see there's a need also in the United States for us. We're the only organization who's working with young children who come from other countries. So it's really interesting to see. I just came from there now. And then started 7th of October. We were sitting in the headquarters in the morning of the 8th and thinking, what can we do? It took us half an hour to understand that we know what to do. We just knew what to do. We had safe spaces for young children. These are spaces for young children mainly, and with the parents, where they can feel safe, they feel secure, they can play, they can talk. There are professional people who can help the parents, who can help the children together. So that's what we have done in Ukraine, in Moldova, in Czech Republic, in Poland. And now we're going to do it in Israel. We had some safe spaces for Ukrainians who came to Israel. So we had all the stuff, the staff, and the staff. And we just put everything on a truck and came. Our first place that we came was the Kibbutz Be'eri. This is a picture that I got a few days after the attack of the 7th of October of the kindergarten in Kibbutz Be'eri. And this is a book of mine that I wrote. It was in the kindergarten. Then you can see there's a little bit of blood. This is very sad. And I was there with the children of Be'eri in the hotel. They came to the Dead Sea. It was a big mess. A lot of them. I don't know if you know Kibbutz Be'eri. All of you know it? No. Kibbutz Be'eri was one of the kibbutzim who was really hurt by the attack on the 7th of October. A lot of the people were killed, children and adults, and a lot of them were kidnapped. It was a big mess. They came to a hotel. They didn't know what to do. Everyone wanted to help. A lot of clowns and food and psychologists, and everyone wanted help, and the children needed something different, something quiet, a safe place to be here. And even here in the lobby of the hotel where we opened the safe set, because there was no room there. The biggest room there was for funerals at that time. We tried to make it as homey as we can. A lot of pillows and carpets, and we bought lights from IKEA that have a little bit warm feeling. And we started helping the children and the parents. And we stayed them until they left and went back to Kibbutz Chatzerim. And that was, for us, was an amazing experience. And I don't think if we would have had the experience in Ukraine and the war in Ukraine and other countries that we worked with, we could have helped ourselves. And we were the main organization who helped the children there. We had 17 safe spaces in 2 weeks. We opened 17. We had more than 200 workers all around. We knew what to do. The government was helpless. The Ministry of Education didn't know what to do. And I'm so happy that we could have done what we did because we had the experience working in other countries in the world. Another safe space that we opened was a few months afterwards, where there was a bomb attack in Majd al-Shams. Majd al-Shams is a Druze village in the north of Israel, where the children played football, and the bomb fell on the time we played football, and 12 children were killed. And we came 2 days afterward, and we opened this safe space. It's still open there because the community is really still shocked from what happened to them. They never had anything like it. And amazing community. We're working with Druze women and children and parents. And for us, working in different communities, now we have workers that are Jewish, Christian, Arabs, Muslims, and for us it was really important. And we're still there, and we see that the community needs us. And even when the war in Syria started, they really wanted to help their families in Syria. And we were talking with the army maybe to help them, but at the end it didn't happen. But still there's a lot of connection and things that they can try to do there. Rabbi Paul told me that I have a project called the Treehouse Kids. It's a project that I did with my my brother. He's a musician. He has in a band called Hadag Nachash. It's a very known Israeli band. And together we started this project for children. We thought the children in Israel need a really serious project where you talk about things that happen. We talked about we have songs and books and a TV series and a lot of things, and we talk about everything that happens. We talk about it. We talk about my son who is autistic. We talked about death, divorce, and when the war started, we thought that we need to do something about it, to write a song or to do something about the war. So we decided to write a song, and it was the first time that I combined the work in Early Starters and the Treehouse Kids project. And we wrote a song about how a child feels when this war comes to his home. And we tried to have that feeling. And Early Starters did also a manual for the parents, how to talk with the children about the war. I see many parents have it really difficult to talk with the children about their feelings, about what happened. Even those who are not really infected immediately, still there's a lot of things that will happen through, and now again, all the time. So we had a manual for parents and also something for educators to do. So it went out. So I'll give you a small taste. I'll try to translate some of the words while the song is playing. It's a well-known singer called Eliad. This is my brother. I woke up from the alarm. My heart was pounding. My mother was hugging me. I feel the same, she said. Don't worry, my father said. It will finish soon. I went to play with my games on the computer. I saw the war only in my games, but now it's in my reality. It happens to me. I wanted to finish. I don't want to be afraid anymore. And that no one will be hurt. And there won't be any war. Yeah. It's good? Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, the song was on, and we talked a lot with children about it, with parents and with educators, and I really feel that sometimes, you know, we have also a research team, and we did a research on the children in Sderot, that we worked in Sderot, and we saw that sometimes the parents they have more anxiety and they're more afraid than the children themselves. And we put on the children our anxieties sometimes, and the children are okay. And that's what we saw in this research. So what we talk with parents is to talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. The children are very resilient. It's better to talk with them than not to talk with them. And they will go further. And also, and this is something that we're trying to do all the time. I'll say that since then we are working in Israel we didn't stop working in Israel. We're doing a lot of things. I'll show you in a moment. I just say that at the same time, our staff in New York and in Ukraine was working. We were doing, we are all focused on the war in Israel, but our staff in all the other countries were working. We were working too, and really supporting us, and it was amazing to see. And a few months ago, we are also giving an emergency answer to the Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica, and we're still helping them. And the government there really wants us to. We were training around 1,000 educators there in Jamaica on what we call trauma-informed education, how to give an answer to the children and the families when there's a disaster like a hurricane. It's the worst hurricane that they had in Jamaica. The situation is really bad. So we came there and helped, and at the same time that we are doing things in Israel. And this is what we're doing now in Israel. We opened permanent safe spaces in Israel. We called it Early Childhood Family Resilience. In Hebrew, it's Chosen Mishpachti Lagil Arach, and the word is Chemla. It's the beginning of each Chemla is compassion. So I feel I think it's the best translation for Chemla. So our model is Chemla. It's family resilience. We work with all the family, especially with the parents and the children together. This is a space in Shlomi. So Shlomi, it's a city in the border of Israel, like 2 kilometers from the border of Lebanon. They were really hurt. All of them were evacuated, and when they were evacuated, we worked with them in the hotels. So when they came back from the evacuation, back to their homes, they were really happy that we decided to come and open a safe space in their city. I can say that now it's all over again. I don't know how the children are going through that again, all over again. There's the Lebanon border is again very warm, and the Hezbollah decided to be a part of this war, and I'm really afraid of those children. So this is a space that we not only created, we also designed it especially with a special designer. We did a few researches about how children can feel more secure, more optimistic, full of hope, and what colors they need, what texture of things that have to be, what sound and what taste can be in this space. And it's amazing. We have special sounds and special smell, and it's an amazing space. We're hoping to do it in other places also, but this is we have now 7 safe spaces in the border of Gaza and in the north, and hoping to design all of them. The second thing that we're doing, and this is something that we started early on wheels. So we have a van with our educators and therapists who go all around to small villages on the border of Israel in the north and in the south. We have 2 vans like that. And what we do is we work on family resilience. In a small place where there's no other people or specialists who come, it's really hard to do it. So we have this van, and now we're going to do it with the evacuated who were evacuated from the bombing of the last couple of days. We are already with Bet Shemesh, 9 people were killed there, and a lot of people were wounded and displaced. So we're going to come with the car, do activities in the hotels, like we did in the beginning of the war. We did it also when the last Iranian attack was on Israel. We opened another spaces in hotels again. So in Israel, we want to be in the second phase of rebuilding and post-traumatic growth and everything, but all the time we're coming back to emergency again, like what's happening now. And another population that we are working now, and it's a big change for us, is the reserve soldiers who come back home. We have a big project called Daddy Time all over Israel. We started something like that in Ukraine, and then we said, it's a good idea to do it in Israel. And we did a pilot project in the Ashdod, and we saw something really amazing happen, because the fathers who come after, some of them after 200, 300 days, they were in reserves, back to their homes, they feel exhausted, they feel that they have a lot of trauma, and they don't want to put it on their children, and the children sometimes are very upset on the fathers, so they have to reconnect again. So we're doing this project. They come for 5 meetings for 3 hours. At the beginning, each meeting is on a different subject. One of them is about emotional feelings, how to talk about our feelings. The other one is how can I be more independent and for the children and more connected. So each one of those meetings is on a different subject, and we're doing activities together for the fathers and the children. And afterwards, the children are going and making dinner for the fathers, and we didn't know how that was pretty amazing. They are so excited. It's a surprise dinner so the fathers don't know what. Sometimes they just do sandwiches with a lot of different ingredients, because my father likes everything, so I'm putting all the ingredients on it. But they're so excited to make something, to give something back to the fathers, and so this is something really amazing to see, and a lot of fathers. We had a few articles in the last couple of weeks, and the fathers are talking. So in this third part of while the children are making the food, the fathers are sitting with a psychologist and talk about what happened in the session and what they're gonna do at home. And a lot of them talk about a big change that happened since they started that, and even they use the phrase "daddy time" for different things at home. Now let's go have a daddy time and go to the supermarket and do something together. So it has a new meaning at home. So this is really amazing. This was an article a few weeks ago. So we worked in 16 countries, and with one belief that every child deserves safety, dignity, and joy. Dignity is a word that in Hebrew it doesn't have a really good meaning. So I met a rabbi here in New York, and he talked about dignity, and I said, okay, this is a word I really want to use. I'll show you a short video about our organization. It's just a few minutes of video that gives you an idea a little bit what we're doing, and then I'll say some other words, and then you can ask some questions.
Every child, anywhere in the world, deserves safety, hope, and the chance to grow. This simple belief is where our story begins. During global crises, we saw thousands of families searching for stability. We couldn't stay still. At borders, in shelters, and in impossible circumstances, we stepped forward to stand with them. What began with 2 people who recognized that young children in crises and underserved communities were overlooked grew into Early Starters International, a global organization supporting young children and families living through crisis. Through our work with children and caregivers in Greece, Haiti, Ethiopia, Malawi, Bangladesh, and Turkey, we learned from our partners what truly supports young children and their meaningful grown-ups, and how to provide not only an immediate response in moments of acute crisis, but a long-term, sustainable process of care and resilience. These lessons shaped us into the organization we are today. When the war in Ukraine began, our work expanded dramatically. We created long-term safe spaces in Israel, Moldova, Czechia, and Poland for families fleeing the war. In New York, we were invited by our fierce supporter, Dr. Evelyn Lipper, who believed we were uniquely positioned to provide a professional and compassionate response to the emerging refugee crisis. As families from all over the world arrived with young children who had little access to any early childhood services. On October 7th in Israel, we were ready to meet the urgent needs of young children. We created 17 emergency safe spaces in hotels, later becoming the foundation for our long-term work. launched Early Starters on Wheels, created Daddy and Me programs for fathers returning from reserve duty, and opened trauma-informed study tracks at Seminar HaKibbutzim College to train the next generation of educators. We are also designing a model safe space that will become a global blueprint for early childhood trauma care. In Ukraine, our 5 safe spaces continue to support children living through war. We also partner with the Ministry of Education to modernize early childhood learning through the Future Kindergarten Initiative, expanding beyond Lviv to a second major city, Dnipro. And through our partnership with Caritas, we train
It was good. Okay. I'll just say, yeah, that's what we're doing. I would say that another rabbi that I learned from him talked about 2 things that are very important. One of them is Am Yisrael Aravim Ze Lezeh. So we have to take care of each other in our country, in our religion, but also with other religions in our country. The second thing is, he said, he took Tikkun Olam to a new phrase, and he said, Tikkun Ba'olam, trying to do something better in the world. And I'm trying to do, in our organization, trying to do, to connect between those two, to also to take care of other people outside the world, and to do things for our people too. And together, I think we learn from each other, and we learn on ourselves on what we can do better for ourselves, but also for others. I'll talk about 3 things that are our future plans. One of them is a partnership between Merav, my partner, and me. He's a CEO of an amazing museum in Jerusalem called On the Seam. It's a social political museum. And they were doing a big exhibition. This is a picture of an exhibition that went all over the world called Coexistence. And based on this exhibition, we want to do a new exhibition together called Childhood that will talk about children in times of crisis, about the Children Bill of Rights that the UN was signing, and a lot of things that children, to do awareness about childhood all over the world. So we're hoping to do this giant outdoor exhibition in big cities, working with the municipalities, and really it was all over the world. So we're going to do it the same with the new childhood outdoor exhibition. We're planning to open a center in Jerusalem or in Modi'in. This is just an AI picture, not the real place. But the municipality of Modi'in gave us already a school that they want us to renovate and become a place, where a center of family resilience, where groups from all over the world will come to Israel. I hope now, after the war will be over, that to start coming again to Israel and learn from what we're doing all over the world. And the third thing is Daddy Time Camping. I just got some funding for that. Like 2 days for the young reserve soldiers and their children in the wild, in the nature, doing things together. We really want to do that. I'll finish with my mother again. I started with my mother, and I'll finish with my mother. My mother's story, as you understood, for me was an inspiration. And I wrote the children's books about it. It's called Hanukkah and Fit. It's about the friendship. It's an amazing friendship that lasted all the years. What happened at the end of the war? My mother, parents were saved, my grandparents, and they came to take her, and she didn't know them anymore. She didn't want to go with them. And the parents of Fit and my grandparents together decided that they would sleep one at the house of each other for a few months. So Fit came to my mother's place, and they slept there one day, and the other day they came back to Fit's place and slept together. and this connection between them continued. So they were best friends forever. I can say that Sfiti was also singing songs to my mother when she was really, really ill on the phone. It was Corona. And this book was really successful, and it became a play, and we won best prize for the best play of the year. And this is my mother here. And what happened afterwards is a few months ago we started doing the movie Hanukkah and Fit. We're filming the movie in Amsterdam. It's a €4.5 million film. This is Fiti and my mother a few years ago. And Fit is a part of the movie, so that like she's going to the shooting, and it's really exciting. And for me, it's like a dream come true. And I was sitting with Fit, and I said, I think that my mother was not post-traumatic because you gave her a safe space, and that's exactly what we're doing. And I just understood it a few months ago that what they have done to my mother had a great life, a husband, 4 children, a great job, hobbies, and I'm sure it was all about what they had at the house of Fitye during the war, her parents, and what she did for them. And that's all. That's my story, and thank you very much. And now it's time for questions. So feel free to ask me whatever you're interested in. I will answer anything. Yes. Yeah, the movie will be finished, I think, in mid-27. It will be in cinemas all over the world, I hope, in here too. If not, I'll bring it here. Yeah, I'll come with it. Really exciting. It's going to be a beautiful movie. We saw part of it, and we went to the show. It will be amazing. Yes?
Where do you get your funding?
Most of the funding are from nice American foundations. Some of them are federations, but some of them are family foundation, and also from just good people also in Israel, and some foundations in Israel. We're planning to get some money from the government, but as the Minister of Education asked us to do the work in 7th of October, and they still didn't pay us yet. But we're waiting. So, yes, more questions. Yeah.
So several times you use the term post-traumatic growth. So I'm just curious if you can talk more about.
It's a good question. We understand. It's a good question. We understood that the trauma is really hard, and what we're trying to do mainly when working with young children is to prevent post-traumatic syndrome. But also things that are happening in this trauma are you can grow from it to better life. Sometimes it strengthens you. You learn to be more resilient. Sometimes, like what happened now in Shlomi. They have now, because we came there, and there's another organization, the education system who was very, very low in the periphery. Now, most of the families who were in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem, saw a different kind of education system, and they know that they need something else in their own town, so they're asking for something different. So there's a possibility that the situation will be better after the war. Not only to go back to what was before, to grow from the war, to go to better life afterwards. So that's what we're trying to in all the places we are. This is okay. More questions? Yes.
There's a growing movement in the United States called social emotional learning. Or
SEL, yeah.
I don't know to what extent you're integrating that into what you do.
Of course, it's a main part of our work. Working on a cell, you're right. It's very all the. You can't really learn and develop if you're not working on your social and emotional skills. And this is a very important part of our work, and we really believe it. Yeah. Yes.
Do you do any follow-up with any of the kids or the families? Have you, for the families from several years ago, to see how they're
it's not easy. We have an evaluation team, and we evaluate things through our work. And now we're talking about we have some of them we have still the connection, and we see. And what happened in Shlomi, we meet families that we were working in the beginning of 7th October, and we're working with them now, and we can see we didn't do it enough steady work on it, but we're getting to it. We have now an evaluation team that is really serious, and we're planning to have also long researches on our work together with other universities that we work with. So hoping that it will have some more knowledge and more researches and evaluation of how influenced the things are on the children in the future. Yes.
I noticed that in other countries besides Israel, where you set up the children's centers, there were no Israeli flags or any of the other things that would identify you as an Israeli organization. We're in a time when Israel's reputation is in tatters in a lot of places, and this could help quite a lot. How does that play in what you do?
It's a good question. First of all, I really agree that the work that we're doing, we are proud that we are Israelis, and we talk about it, and we never say we never hide it. And I really believe that I just talked with Rabbi Paul, and I said we are part of Olam organization who has all the Israeli and Jewish organizations together, and we were in a conference of other humanitarian organizations of the world, and I was the only Israeli there, and I thought it was really a shame that we weren't all the, and there's a lot of Israeli organization and Jewish organization who work in humanitarian, and I really wanted us to be acknowledged there and to see what we're doing around the world. About the flag, when I was in the border of Ukraine, I felt if I would put the flag, they would think that I'm giving an answer only for Jewish people. And that I was afraid of that. The Minister of Foreign Affairs really wanted us to put a flag on our tent, and I really felt that I wanted that everyone will be invited, and they feel that they were not, because there were a lot of organizations who only helped Jewish people, and we're there for the children. We help everyone, and so I think it depends where. But I will think about it more now, especially because I really feel that we need to show more that Israel is not only what you hear on the news, and even our exhibition to show that we are a humanitarian organization from Israel, and a museum that is a social political museum, are not afraid to be Israelis around the world, to show what we're doing, and I will think about it more. It's good. Yes?
How do the children and their families know to get to your organization? So they're in the middle of this crisis. Is it just word of mouth, or?
So it depends where. Yeah, but if you are in a hotel, you are in a hotel. Everyone is coming. In other places, we're trying to connect, to find what the ways, the social. Facebook and the social media, and every country has its own. United States is single, in Ukraine is a different way. So you learn how to be a part of the groups that are IDPs in the city, and sometimes it takes a little bit time, but most of the time they hear about us very fast, and we give an answer. Yes.
Years ago, Dan Senor and Saul Singer wrote a book, Startup Nation, about Israel's economic miracle, and talked about all these organizations. They were focused in on economics at that time, but how there was something in the Israeli makeup soul that led to this explosive startup nation. Something about this organization feels very Israeli in that way. Can you comment upon why Davka was this founded in Israel?
So first of all, it's really funny because early starters. It's talking about Startup Nation and also to start, but also Startup Nation. So we had it in mind when we had our name, and I really feel and now that I'm working all around the world, I don't see many. I don't know any organization that is focused on early childhood as we are. Of course, there are UNICEF and Save the Children and a lot of organizations who work with a lot of different children, but the focus on children in trauma, in crisis is very unique, I think. And I think Startup Nation is to find the uniqueness, to do something that is unique that other people haven't done, haven't created before. I think this is a little bit that, to see what we are special in, and I think the education system and the things that we learned in Israel, of course, during also those years of war, and are unique for us. So even now in Ukraine, we were asked, it's a different uniqueness, but we were asked to help. There's a lot of things happening in the war in Ukraine that no one knows about them. One of them is many of the children were kidnapped. There are thousands of kidnapped children. So we were asked by the Ukrainian, one of the hospitals there, to write a protocol on the kidnapped children that will come back from Russia to Ukraine. So this is a unique knowledge that we have in Israel, so in a bad situation, but we have it and we know what to do. So we're helping them with that. And I think mainly the feeling that we can do things and we're not afraid to do them and to try, and maybe we'll not succeed like what happened in New York, just to open. I think this is a little bit about the chutzpah, Israeli chutzpah, and Startup Nation, yeah, a little bit that too, yeah. Yes?
Another comment about your Daddy Nation, Daddy Time.
Mm-hmm.
That many of the places your organization goes to internationally where there are crises, either the father, the mother, both are themselves in crisis along with the child.
Mm-hmm.
So what you've developed in Israel sounds like it could work very broadly throughout your whole business, everywhere.
I agree.
Is that where you're going?
I hope so. We're trying to, look, as I said before, I think we're trying to do Tikkun Olam, to try to do something, to repair something in the world. So I'm not going to change the world, and I'm not going to conquer the world, but I can do my best in every place where I'm invited, I can go. I had a discussion with we had a discussion with another Jewish organization, Ohel, in New York, on doing something with veterans in like that with veterans, and we talked with the veteran organization. They said they never had something like that for the American veterans who come back from being in the army. So yeah, I hope to widen our work in other places, and this new way of working with fathers and children, and also mothers. You're right. It's something new that we just started a few months ago, and we're learning, and we're also evaluating that and trying to see. We see the influence. We in a very short time, as I said, in Ethiopia, what happened. In a very short time, we did a big change. And here also, we see in 5 meetings of 3 hours, there's a big change at home. And this is something really unique, and two good ideas. Thank you.
Do you have any provision for people to come and volunteer their time?
So depends where. What we're trying to do mainly, that our workers will be professionals. So if sometimes we have volunteers who come. We worked with the JFNA on volunteers who came to Ukraine and to Moldova and to Czech Republic, but most of them were specialists themselves. They were psychologists, were educators who came and worked with us. So we're trying to be an education professional organization. But people who are, we have some volunteers now in New York, and also volunteers who came to Jamaica. But they have to have knowledge. They're not to knowledge in working with young children. So this is very important for us. Okay, that's great. We also gave an answer in North Carolina in the hurricane. We're trying to give, so this is good. You can send me your email. You have my email, and I'll connect you to our American, and if you want to come to other places around the world, most invited. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much. Purim Sameach, we say, yeah? Nice, have a Purim. Thank you. And thank Lana that I came here.
Thank you, thank you. So, first of all, one of the things I believe is we who live in this country, so many of us are so fortunate by what we have, by how we live, by what we can do. And part of our role and part of what Torah teaches us is we give. We give by finding out amazing places like this, amazing organizations, and spreading the word to other people. We share, we're taught that what we've been given, part of it is for us to give tzedakah to others. And so if this organization touched you, here's the information, and maybe you'll give, but more. In the Torah portion this week, Ki Tisa, we learn about one of the greatest failures of our people in biblical times. It's when Moses went up to the top of the mountain to receive the very laws that would guide our people until now. He was up there 40 days, and the people lost sight of their purpose. And what did they do? They built the golden calf. They pushed Aaron to build the golden calf. And the greatest failure is we lost sight of our purpose. And if it stopped there, it would have been a terrible story. But the very next thing that happens, from the depths of the pain, what do? We build a Mishkan. Vasuli Mishkan Mikdash Vishchanti B'tocham. God says, build for me a holy space, and I will dwell, not in it, because you can't contain God, but I will dwell b'tocham, among you. It doesn't take that much on one level to do this. You just have to have the chutzpah to say, they're in the depths of pain, the failure of this world, of each and every one of us, to create a safe space for everybody. So what do? Don't sit there and don't leave those kids there. Do what he does. Build. Thank you, Ran, for coming, schlepping all the way to Israel. Thank you, Meirav, for having a nephew who would have a bar mitzvah. Davka, your kid. Mazal tov. Thank you, and Mazal tov, that you could get here, and for opening up another avenue to connect to Israel and around the world. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for coming out tonight. And toda rabba lachem, and be safe. Laila tov.